Okay, YouTube. I'm trying this one more time because my phone keeps shutting off on me. But anyhow, I'm going to do a toolbox tour. My first toolbox tour. I want to get. I'm going to do some more videos on YouTube. Eventually, we're going to end up doing a garage tour. But as you see, I got a mess. So starting with my sockets, I got some one-off sockets. They got two Cornwells, inch and 3/16, inch and an eighth. I have a Sunex inch and 15/16 or inch and 5/16. I'm sorry, which is basically your 33 millimeter for big truck wheels. These are that's half inch. That's for using on a half-inch impact. Inch and 11/16 for Dodge axle nut. That's the axle nut that gets torqued down to over 260 foot-pounds. These are my Harbor Freights, short impacts, standard metric. This is my cheap Chinese deep standard sockets, with the exception of these two. These are metric. Those are 19 mils. My half-inch chromes, deep chromes from Harbor Freight. These are my metric deeps from Snap-on. These sockets, I just get these out. Those are pretty good sockets. They do wear fast. I don't know if you can see that. They're softer. Chrome, this is standard, that's metric. The one way you can tell metric from standard is their socket organizers are black for metric, and their standards are red. And you'll see that in my 3/8 set. My 3/8 sets. Harbor Freight, the impact sockets, 3/8 impact sockets. I'm actually missing one for some odd reason, but we'll find it here later. This is a standard set. I do believe. Yeah, that's a standard set. And this is the metric set. Same thing with the deeps. Standard metric. 10 being the smallest, 19 being the biggest. These are my chromes for Snap-on. These are my metric chromes, 3/8. My standard shallows, my metric deeps, and my standard deeps. Right here are my Torx and Allen sockets. Down to I believe that's a T8, I'm sorry, T8 up to T55, and then down, this is a 4 up to a 10 millimeter. Regular random set of Torx and Allens. Harbor Freight Torx, all half-inch, and then my 1/4-inch metrics. This is all my 1/4-inch. My 1/4-inch metric shallows. This is my standard deep 1/4-inch, and this is the standard shallows. And right here we have our flip sockets for the impacts for doing tire changes. I actually made that socket organizer. Spline wheel nut socket. T-handle, you slide the bar through and you use it as a T-handle socket. These are my special sockets. This is my fuel filter A129 socket, which means it's a 29 millimeter 3/8 drive. This is a 3/8 drive flip socket, 24 mil on the small side, 36 mil on the big side, 3/8 drive. You can flip it. You have to use an extension on it. 13/16 spark plug socket, 5/8 spark plug socket. Both have the rubber grommets in them. 5/8 swivel socket from Mac Tools, 3H drive. Some random vintage square drive. This is my standard set of crow's feet, 3/8 up to 1 inch, all Craftsman. That's a full Craftsman standard set. And that's it for my sockets. My wrenches, metric, standard. Same thing with identifying the standards in the metric. My metrics go from 3/8 to 3/4. My metrics go from 10 mil to 19 mil. Same thing with the line wrenches, except they're on both ends, and they're 6 points. An extra set of line wrenches. This is a smaller set, and also vintage. 6 points from 3/8 all the way up to 11/16, and I have a 5/8 and 3/4 12 point, only because I couldn't find a 6 point wrench to finish off that set. My regular large flank drive set. Now these aren't the flank drive plus. These are the flank drive plus. One way you can tell is the lines that run in the open end. That's the one way you can tell that they're flank drive plus. These guys are not flank drive plus. Now these are older wrenches. It goes from 13/16 up to 1.25 inches. Some specialty wrenches, S-bend wrenches, curved ignition wrench, some stubbies, box ends, double box ends, double open ends. My extension set, and my cord keeps getting caught on my vise. I'm on the charger. 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, 3/4. Torque sticks. These are Harbor Freight. That's a Sun X. The Harbor Freight set goes from 75 foot-pounds all the way up to 150. I got a 1/2 inch, can't call it a bell housing extension. I got a adapter extension set. This is snap-on. This is a proto adapter to 1/2 inch to 3/4. And Harbor Freight ball swivels. Harbor Freight universal swivels. Snap-on IM 3100 impact adapter. This goes in an impact wrench. You pull a pin, switch out your anvils, and you can turn a 3/8 into a 1/2 inch. My plier set. Wow. These are my crimps, wire crimps, cutters, strippers. I do like these ones, but Napa makes a cheaper version. It's identical. These are snap-ons. These are the PWC. Looks like PWCS7S. I'm sorry, PWCS7CF. These are the blue points. Diagonals. The high leverage pliers. These are awesome. Regular slip joints, short needle nose, long needle nose. I love these long needle nose. I don't know how well you can see them, but these are the long needle nose. They come in a regular plier set. The Snap-on's version of the channel locks, I have the actual big pair of channel locks here. Snap ring pliers, my multi snap ring plier. I'm not a fan of these. I like the actual snap ring pliers. Some random needle nose cutters and stuff. The bits for the multi snap ring pliers. My screwdriver drawer, all snap-on. Got some extras. Phillips set. This is the 5-piece set. This is the 5-piece straight set. These come out of a set that was a mixture. You had like three straights, maybe like 2 Phillips. I got my ratcheting screwdriver. These are the best. You can actually take these with you out on a job and not have to worry about switching screwdrivers. You just switch your bits. Hose pick, master Torx set, and this is the mini pick set. And then I have a tech driver. And this is just a Chinese Black & Decker bit set. Vice grips, hose pinchers, pipe wrenches, the snap-on crescent wrench, and I have some, there's an actual Crescent brand wrench down there. There's some mini Crescent wrenches. I have these multi-wrenches. Sometimes those come in handy. I got some spanners. I think Harbor Freight sold these. These are spline drive, like a multi-wrench. Those are like $7. And the Holy Grail. This is my ratchet drawer. 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch. I didn't put my torque wrenches in that order, but this is my 1/2 inch tech angle. This is my 3/8 tech angle. I do have my 3/4 drive ratchet in here. My speeders. I got my breaker bars in here. 1/2 inch breaker bar. This is the Pittsburgh style. It's just a copy of the snap-on breaker bar, pretty much. Got some Mac ratchets, mostly snap-on though. Some Cornwell in here, Matco tools. Sometimes you can't beat the prices on the Harbor Freight stuff, but you gotta wonder how long these guys last. And Bearded CB on YouTube is actually correct on the switches on these. These things, they're backwards. I can't get the feel of the switch, just like he can't. I'm used to the snap-on style. These are my go-to ratchets. And the torque wrenches are the same. I got a belt, a serpentine belt ratchet, mini breaker bar, impact driver, some socket drivers. And I believe that's it for the top. In this drawer, down in our bottom chest, top short drawer, is all my basic tire, my wheel end, regular tools. Tire pressure gauges. I got 2 of them. I got a Ken tool, valve core remover, and cap remover. Those are nice. Those are actually like $18. A magnet. I got an inspection light. This is what it looks like. It takes, I believe, 2 AA batteries. I'll just put that in there just like that. Seal puller. This is my brake set. For the round clips, you go to twist, and it's actually a flip socket style. And I actually use this socket driver for regular sockets as well. Brake adjustment tools, brake spring tool, air chucks. This is just another valve core remover, tire gauge for measuring the tread depth, caging bolts for maxis, for caging the maxis, so you could do your brakes. In this drawer I got my files, just different stuff, taps, scrapers. These go in my pneumatic scraper, gasket scraper, mirrors, another magnet, chainsaw file, chain breaker, cable lube. I do race motocross, so I gotta have those tools for my bike. I got a putty knife back there. Screw extractors, bolt extractors. There's a Irwin Hansen set. Helicoil insert. Tap handles, electrical tape. If you look down here, those are 10 mil, or no, those are 8 mil helicoils. And I made this wrench for, I do collect chainsaws as well. I made this wrench for taking the clutch off the older Homelite chainsaws. I do collect Homelite chainsaws. This is my chisel set, my chisel drawer. I got my air chisel bits, big punches. This is a snap-on set that you get. So I got most of this set from school. I got the Student Excellence Program, and I got the SEP Premium Combination Set, and these come with it. These are excellent chisels. I have a master set in my bottom drawer, but these are good chisels. Now, honestly, you'd be better off if you're looking for a set of chisels. These are Harbor Freights. I think I spent like $20 on that set. Yeah, I got some different chisels. I got some non-turning bits for the air chisel. That's a panel cutter. This is the turning style of the panel cutter. Some muffler cutters, straight bits. 18. I think that's a 12-inch chisel, straight chisel. My measurement tools for doing engine work on the bike and race engines and stuff. These are the snap gauges, measure bores and stuff. My mics, and I actually have the full set. They're just not in their place. Calipers. This is a Mitutoyo mic. This is a Mitutoyo dial indicator. I am slowly starting my Mitutoyo collection for measurement stuff. The best measurement instruments you can ever buy. Just a cheap caliper, metric caliper. Best thing for an engine builder is a scale. I got some fabrication tools in here as well. I do some fabrication work. I got my square, which has seen the plasma cutter a few times. Some angle gauges, fillet weld gauge, some levels, some soapstone pen, chalk line. I'll use the chalk line to lay out a piece of plate and cut off the chalk line. And this is everybody's favorite drawer, the hammers. These are the snap-on dead blow ball peens. This is a 24 ounce. This is a 32 ounce. This is my, I believe that's a 24 ounce. No, that's a 32 ounce. 2-pounder. 24 ounce Vaughn ball peen. 2-pound sledge. I got a gasket hammer, making gaskets. I got a non-mooring hammer. I had a spare head for another ball peen. I believe that's a 16 ounce ball peen. These are all my pullers and pry bars, ball joint press. These are the snap-on, the new snap-on style handled pry bars. I did have the old style. It doesn't really make a difference what kind of handle it is, as long as it does its job. I got some lady slippers, some like presses I made out of all thread. When I use those for my swing arm when I'm doing the swing arm bearings and stuff. Case splitter. I do have a flywheel puller in here. That's a Motion Pro. Nail pullers, you can use those for anything. I got some tubing benders. And these are all the adapters for the ball joint press and strikers for the torches, hand torch. This is my cutting drawer, and I do have my brushes in here, parts cleaning brushes. Nicholson, these are the best hacksaws you can ever buy. They're pretty solid. I got a mini hacksaw in here. I got a drywall saw in here for some odd reason. You know, parts cleaning brushes. The Whisk style shears. These are, I don't know who makes these, but these are good. I use these for cutting gaskets. Some knives, you know, carpenter knives. In this drawer, I got some specialty tools as well. I got my filter wrenches, strap wrench, a dial indicator with the magnetic base. I use those for truing up wheels on bikes, you know, dirt bikes and stuff. I got my fuel line disconnect set. That is a Lisley set that used to come in a case, and I got rid of the case. The Mac Tools compression tester set, the master set. It comes with all the lines, the short, all the couplers. I made this. This is my fuel pressure tester, and it used to be super long. And I used to be able to put this gauge inside my cab, and I can read the pressure of my fuel so that I can watch it as I'm driving down the road. Your normal flaring tool set. This set right here is the slack adjuster set. You can adjust your slack adjusters. I mainly use these for doing brake jobs on big trucks. I don't have a full set of those just because you can actually use a regular ratchet and a socket on the newer style ones. Those are for the old style where you have to hold out on the pin and ratchet it. I believe that's to loosen it out. But I have my clutch dummy tool and flashlights. Drill bit drawer and some die grinder stuff. Titanium nitride bits. These are the cobalt bits from Fastnell. Don't ever buy these bits. These are from Harbor Freight. Those are the high-speed steel Harbor Freight bits. The number one, the case sucks. It falls apart. Number two, the drill bits. I drill real slow on steel. I drill 200 RPM on steel, and they still go dull. So stay away from that kit. Cylinder hone. I use these for honing out the cylinders, and you can replace the stones on them. I believe that's a Lisley tool as well. Irwin 5/16 long bit. I got some masonry bits in there too. The Milwaukee hole dozer and the coupler. This is the actual the coupler itself. It actually was supposed to take the smaller hole saws, but I thought that hole saw would fit on there, but it doesn't. So I'm gonna have to get the smaller bits for it, the smaller hole saw attachments. That's the drill bit drawer, and this is the goodies. Yeah, I got my regular run-of-the-mill DeWalt reciprocating saw, electric. It's corded. My snap-on Monster Lithium 18 volt half-inch drive impact. I burnt the motor up in it once. If it happens again, I think I'm gonna go Milwaukee. The big power gun, the fuel gun. This is the best 3/8 impact you'll ever buy. That's the 14.4 volt lithium ion 3/8 impact. That gun is in my hand all the time. When I'm in my garage, when I was working on trucks, that gun was in my hand all the time. It has phenomenal power. 14.4 drill. It's nice and light. I go for it all the time. Mainly because that's my only drill, and I'm about to buy a Milwaukee set. Here's the Monster Lithium batteries, and right above those is the 14.4 lithium ion batteries for the impact and the drill. The air tools are just nothing special. These are Cornwell. This is a Cornwell 3/8 ratchet, and then the Cornwell 1/4 inch ratchet. I bought that for the set when Cornwell had the sale going on for $150 for the whole set, and I took up on that. Real good deal. I think if you bought those separately, you'd be in the market for around $350. My pneumatic gasket scraper, as I was saying before, those are what those scraper bits were for. I use this for scraping gaskets off. This does work. This is actually Harbor Freight. My cookie cutter. I don't know how many times you've ever heard that term. It's my Matco angle die grinder. I always call it the cookie cutter. Some people might refer to it as a pizza cutter or whatnot, but I call it the cookie cutter. And a Harbor Freight or Central Pneumatic pencil grinder. I never really had any issues with that. I think they're all made by the same company. It works. It's nothing special. I think it was about $20 from Harbor Freight. My diagnostics drawer. Now, I am a do-it-yourselfer guy. I believe in do-it-yourselfer. I don't believe in spending a lot of money at the dealership just to have your vehicle, just to have your vehicle on the scan tool, by the mechanics there. So I ended up buying my own. I bought the Snap-on Ethos Pro, and it actually works on my 6.7 Cummins. I do all my own diagnostic work. I do all my own tests. That scan tool will actually do the graphing and stuff. It's only updated to 16.2. I take that back, 16.4. I have my good 504D multimeter. This is just a Walmart special. This is the one that I always lend out if somebody needs a multimeter. I don't lend this one out, just because the 504D is about close to $300 scan multimeter. And a lot of people said throw the test lights out. I still have mine. I got two of them. This one's actually meant for reading 110 voltage. I got all my leads for the multimeters. I got some O-rings here. I got some wire, some light bulbs for the truck. This drawer is the big money drawer. I got 3 1/2-inch guns. If you want to say 4, because I can turn that gun right there into a 1/2-inch drive, but it's a 3/8. It stays a 3/8. This is the IM 3100. They made these back in the early 2000s, and you can switch out the anvil to a 1/2-inch. I might make a video on that, but it's a good gun. It don't have the beastly torque of a MG 325, but it's an all-around good gun. Handle exhaust. It's got the turbo outlet on it. You can switch the exhaust to get high power out of it. And then my MG 725. Yeah, it's just a run-of-the-mill MG 725. I do go for these a lot. The IR 231s. These are very dependable. They're cheap. You can get them for a little over $100. This is the Model A. This is the American 231. The new ones made today are made in China, but by Ingersoll Rand. Still feature the grease fitting on the back. You know, they're pretty much the same. I actually rebuild these myself. They're simple. They're cheap to rebuild. That beats sending the snap-on guns out to get them rebuilt. My local snap-on rep charges $140 to rebuild a impact that's out of warranty. And I have two 231s. I got the first gen 231-2 Model A, and this has the pipe fitting on the bottom for the lube. That's a second gen. This has long anvil for tire changing. Really good guns. I also have the titanium sitting over there. I'm going to save that. I have my 3/4 drive 6-inch anvil impact. I actually rebuilt this once. I had to swap out a bearing in it, clean it up. I have a 3/8 air drill, 1/2-inch air drill, and then I got my monster. This air hammer's never given me any issues. Never let me down. And I did some serious work with this gun. And it's got the Mac retainer on it. I got the Mac boot. These boots aren't real too popular, but it definitely saves the housing from getting beat up. And they're quiet. This gun's quiet. This is your adjustment. But this gun has never let me down. Whoever made this for Mac did a phenomenal job. But the new Mac guns look just like the snap-on ones, and the snap-on hammers actually fall apart. Sad to say. I'm a snap-on connoisseur, hence the toolbox, but the snap-on guns just fall apart. That has never fell apart on me. And another bad thing is, I think Mac tools, they have gotten cheaper. Just my opinion. I have not really bought any Mac tools. Once I went snap-on for all my hand stuff, it went on from there. I wouldn't buy Mac tools ever again. This is the big drawer. I got my Porta Power in there. It's only a 4-ton. And I actually took it out of its box. I got my Hitachi grinder. I got a 4-ton bottle jack in there. It's right there. This is the master chisel set. Like I was saying before, and one of them fell out. Actually, they're all falling out. Where'd these go? This is the master set. When I bought this set, there was already a couple pieces missing. This actually goes in here. And that one goes in here. And it's even got the holder too, with the old style handle. I'd like to have the Instinct handle, but keep it vintage, I guess. It's a nice set. I could probably replace the chisels that are missing with the newer stuff. This is the best tool I've ever bought, and for the money for Snap-on, you can't beat the price on that. Just that bleeder was 120 bucks. Now, you could buy the whole set, it might run you about 250 or so. I don't know the actual price, don't quote me on that price, but that bleeder right there was 120 bucks, and you get the hose, the big bottle, and the actual vacuum system, and it does work. And the hose is starting to get cloudy on me, but I'm sure I can replace that. But and I got my 1-inch drive gun in there. It's just a front steer tire gun. Now I got a needle scaler in there. It's a Harbor Freight. The 1-inch drive gun is actually an IR. It's an old IR. I think it's industrial, being there's a little bit of yellow on there, and there was a sticker on there that actually was a IR sticker. But it's the old style, and I'm not a fan of these, but the trigger's on the outside. You can actually hit that with your knee, and you'll turn it on by mistake, and if you just bump it ever so slightly, it's turning on. But I got my attachments for the port of power in there, and that's pretty much about it. Now I do have my giant pry bar, and this is what I use for putting truck tires on. I bought this for, I think it was 45 bucks. It was from a tool salesman, and I got this at a swap meet. It's a Mayhew Dominator, and these are pretty good pry bars. These are in the area of like your Milwaukee guys, your IR stuff. It's not a Snap-on, but it's a pretty good pry bar. I have to admit that. This thing, I'm getting it out here. This is my pit gun. Not a lot of people have these, and number one reason for not a lot of people having those is, well, they're about 1,200 bucks brand new, and this is a Brunhosel. It comes. I have the actual socket. I actually got this gun off of eBay for a good price. I've actually had this gun apart, and this is an older pit gun. It had a red boot on it, and it has the older style 6-vein motor in it, which is practically an improved 231 motor, IR Ingersoll Rand 231 motor that's in that. And this don't have the IR mechanism in it. It's like almost like a rocking dog style mechanism. There's a thrust bearing in here, and there's a brass bushing in here, and it spins pretty true. The socket, it actually has a different style. You can't use this as a regular impact. It's a tapered anvil, and there's a set screw in the socket that goes in there, and it keeps the socket on, and the socket goes on the anvil so true that you do not want no vibrations. This is the right side exhaust gun. That gun is loud. It's really loud. I actually rebuilt this into a 7-vein gun, the newer style. And eventually I'm going to put my grip tape on it, and I'm actually going to use this. I'm going to see if I can't do the pit stop tire changes with it. And I'm going to have a setup in the garage for it. But this thing is phenomenal fast. It's like, with the 7-vane motor, it's like 20,000 RPM, and it runs on nitrogen. All the pit crews, they run nitrogen into their guns, so they're consistent. I'll probably end up making a video on that pretty soon as well. But well guys, that was my toolbox review. And the toolbox is actually a like I said, it's a heritage style. The bottom cab is a KRA 3800C, and the top is a KRA 48, I believe a 4813 PBO. No, we'll see. Might be. Either way, it's a red. Whatever the last parts of the model number are, it's got the model number for the red. You get the sticker with the box. Now, my keys are different. My keys are bottom from the bottom chest, and then different keys for the top. But that's the toolbox tour. Make sure you guys subscribe. If you guys want some more, go into my please message in seeing what some ideas are. I want to get some ideas going. You know, after I clean the shop up, organize it. As you can see, it's a mess. We'll go through a shop tour of what all my my fab equipment, just some different stuff. We'll do a review on the tractor and stuff. But all right, guys, I'll talk to you guys next time.